So, who are we thinking is in the top 5 in the under 105 class this weekend?
So for me, in no particular order, will be Ashley Chambers, Connor Smith, Ali Gare, Sully, and Daz Fulton.
That's very similar to mine.
Yeah.
In my top 5, I think we're going to have, again in no particular order, we're going to have Connor Smith, we'll have Dale Bell, we'll have Daz Fulton, we'll have Ash Chambers, and we will also have, let me just have a quick thing of that to remember. I think we will also have Aaron Sullivan in there as well, Sully. There is someone who we haven't mentioned there who's coming from away to guest lift. That's David Armstrong. I've competed with him myself, and he's fantastic. So I think he will be in and amongst that as well. Yeah. But there's so many, like from the top right to the bottom, all of them could change, even from like 14th place right up. I think
This is all based on what we've seen. But what we haven't seen is the unknown. So, and anything can happen on the day.
There's also the beauty with a 14 competitor competition is
one bad
event. Like there's someone who we just mentioned in that lineup there who is telling me he's going to zero one event. If he does, then he's not going to be in the top 5. And then there's other guys who I've seen on the Conan's wheel before, for example, who I believe will take points off all of them. And if he does, that then puts the cat amongst the pigeons and knocks people's points around. Yeah. That's why he makes it so interesting as a competition.
Well, I'll ask you this, Adam. Who do you think is your closest fight?
I personally think the closest fight is for 2nd and 3rd place. And in my opinion, that is between 3 people. I'm going to go 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And that is between Darren Fulton, Ashley Chambers and Dale Bell. I would throw another name in there as well, Aaron Sullivan. But it's just, if he has told me previously he thinks he's going to have one bad event, and if he does, again, we can't have one bad event in this. If with Aaron Sullivan being a former powerlifting champion, been to Worlds before, he's going to have some really strong events in this. Yeah. So it all just depends if them guys can have consistency across the day. If they can, then I would see that's the biggest fight for me. That is the biggest fight. It is between 2nd place and 5th place. That's where I think we'll see the most drama on the day.
The fight I'm looking forward to seeing is on this Conan's wheel that we're leaning on now, and I want to see Ali Gare against Aidan Wainwright. That's going to be insane.
I'm going to throw another name in there as well, Ethan Dalton.
Very true.
So
that shield carry was phenomenal.
So not only was he fantastic on the shield carry, Ethan has also had this in a competition before and won that event.
Yeah.
So if he's the only one that I'm aware of that has had this in competition, that as an advantage to know how it feels, how it moves, the pressure on the body, the difference between that and not doing it before, he's got so much advantage. Yeah. And as well, he's fantastic, as you just said, at front carries. But the big one on this is Aidan Wainwright for me. He last year blew everyone out of the water in the front carry. He didn't even breathe heavy. No. It was crazy. No. It was crazy to see. So I think they're the ones that I'm looking forward to the most. The, let's say, big name competitor in the competition we've got is top 10 from this year in Britain's Strongest Man under 90 kilos.
Oh yeah.
Which is obviously Connor Smith. For me, he is sort of the standard of the day. If anyone can beat him and walk away with a win against him, they automatically put themselves as one of the top in the country, because he has proven himself so far as one of the best in the country. He come 7th place at England's Strongest Man. He come 10th place at Britain's Strongest Man, and he's one of only actually 4 men to ever compete at Britain's Strongest Man from Cumbria, which again is pretty insane.
I think that the dark horse coming behind him is Mr. Consistency, Ashley Chambers.
100%.
He's the one to watch for me, definitely.
But then it's like you've also, the thing is with these competitions is you've got people who are doing it who've literally never competed in strongman before.
Yeah.
So like we've got the experienced competitors, i.e. what we've just said, Ash, who's trained for years. You've got Connor, who's literally been to the national stage. But then you've also got lads like, well, again, Sully, who's been to world stages powerlifting. Then you've got someone like Darren Fulton, who is a born winner in regards to his bodybuilding, being Cumbria's only pro bodybuilder, but he's literally picked up a log 3 weeks ago for the first time. So, yes, he's incredibly statically strong, and I think he's going to do very well. But the interesting bit comes is when he's on something like this, and then massive legs that he's full of blood. It's to see what he's actually got. I personally think he's got a lot mentally.
Yeah.
I think he can do a lot, and that's the interesting bit.
I think the person we need to watch for mentally is the relative newcomer, Tom Potts.
Yeah.
He's extremely mentally strong, and he's just... I'm dying to see what he can pull out on this. I'm really looking forward to it.
I think in regards to all of them, there's names we haven't even mentioned there.
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's unfair to name names so much.
There's names such as like Carl Ward that we spoke about just before. Like
incredibly mentally tough.
Yeah, the novice, he's a former fighter. Like, if you can get punched in the face for
fun,
literally for fun, then carrying around something like this,
double.
It'll be, to him, the mental challenge isn't really going to be as much. As I say, I mentioned Ethan Dalton before. There's a lot of lads who are going to take points off other people that people won't even think of in the competition. They'll be looking at the bigger names, like people who've competed loads and whatever else. But there's going to be lads who literally come out of nowhere and surprise and shock every single person. I really do think that.
This is why my top 5 is so... I wouldn't put any money on it because there's so many unknowns in this competition, especially with it being 6 events. I think 6 really heavy events too.
I think if you look at it logically...
We're only going on experience,
if you look at experience, the winner seems to stand out. But, don't get me wrong, one drop on the dinnies, one mistake on the corners, one missed rep on the log, a missed rep depth-wise or anything on the squat, you're losing 5, 10, 15, like almost 14 points sometimes.
Yeah.
So if that happens, who people have been saying to me, oh, he'll definitely win, that's wrong.
It's all out the window.
Yeah, it's all gone then. And then you're on the back foot and you're fighting for points, and you've got someone else who's coming from the bottom trying to prove a point, who people think is going to be nowhere, is going to come and win an event or do really well in an event.
Yeah.
And again, we just spoke about him before about on the corners, but if you're forgetting, Aidan Wainwright is very well established in many different forms of sport.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's been a fighter, he's been a bodybuilder, he's done strongman a couple of times now.
Good footballer before that as well.
Very good semi-pro footballer. Yeah. So if someone's got a background in that sort of thing, you can't write them out either.
No, absolutely not.
And we've got so many different diverse areas where people are going to be good at. I believe the 105 show, in my opinion, might steal the show.
Yeah.
But
did last year.
It did last year. Yeah, he did last year. Our very own Richard Ferris was right there at the top at the very end. One fumble on the stones.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. But I think, just to wrap everything up, the Under 105 show is definitely one to watch. And if you are local to our area, or even if you're further away, you do not want to miss this, because Cumbrian Strongman is really thriving, and this 105 show is going to prove it.